Ministers, Haseeb Drabu, the Finance Minister of J&K Bank. Morning, Haseeb. Thank you very much for joining us. Yesterday evening, when you were speaking to Shireen, I thought I heard you say the shortfall could be 50,000 crores.
It's not shortfall. What it is, Lata, is this is the expected loss of revenue from shifting to the GST regime, which some states, which are by and large the producer states, will kind of lose, are expected to lose. Really, one can't say they will lose, but they're expected to lose somewhere around, on our estimates, around 50,000 crores, yes.
That's the point, Haseeb. The government actually expects, and all of you governments expect to make 50,000 crore by imposing a cess?
No, it's not about that. See, if you look at it in the past, the principle was that this money, which is a shortfall, would ideally come out of the Consolidated Fund of India. So it's not necessarily linked to a particular revenue source. But the way it's been structured as of today, which was discussed yesterday in the GST Council, was that there are some ongoing cess already, like, the whole cess on environment, cess on coal, lignite and peat and all that. So that contributes a certain amount of money. But so one broad thought from the central government has been that cess should be used as a mode of financing the shortfall.
But don't you think, Mr. Drabu, that things are getting a bit complicated on the GST front? I mean, first a four-slab GST tax structure, now the levy of an additional cess, which conceptually seems a bit wrong. I mean, it just defeats the purpose of a unified taxation.
No, I don't think it's getting complicated, but I don't think, and if it gets complicated, rightly so. You're trying to fit an existing tax regime across 30 states into something new. So you will see some distortions in the transition phase. You can't wake up, sleep in a VAT regime and wake up in a GST regime just like that.
Right.
It will take some time, and you will want to funnel the existing rates. You can't, give tax shocks to customers or commodities. So you are moving from, let's say, a multiple of 30 rates to 4 rates, and then from 4 rates we'll move forward to 2 rates and so on and so forth.
Point taken. Haseeb, from corporate India, an investor's point of view, I'm just worried about how you're looking at this number. How much might be this need to get from cess? Because 50,000 crores you will never get just from cigarettes and liquor. So do other articles come in? What is the number that the governments are looking at from cess, additional cess? And what articles, what's your best guess?
Look, as it is already, the current cess or cesses in operation are giving you about 40-odd thousand crores.
Oh, okay.
So it's really a matter of about 10,000 crores.
All right. Okay.
Now, even that, I'm not sure, that this is going to eventually happen. The real issue that came up was something very simple and not very complicated that should change the life of corporate India, which is that, if, let's say, Gujarat levies a cess and earns money, then the need for compensation will be less.
Okay.
So why taking away the power to raise cess from Gujarat to center and then compensating him? It becomes a self-financing mechanism.
Okay.
So, but I don't think it's kind of gone into an area where one should be worried about. I think we are kind of reaching a consensus.
Okay.
And the tonality of the debates in the GST Council are very enlightened, very specific to specific states and all that.
Okay, fair enough. That's very, consoling that 40,000 crores anyway there in the other cesses. So an additional cess may be smaller. 10,000 crore perhaps is a more manageable number. But Haseeb, how does the government plan to impose this? You will know the shortfall only at the end of the year. The cess will start applying from April 1st. So, there would be leads and lags. So do the cess get reduced in subsequent years? It's a little confusing.
You are looking at more or less, think of it conceptually as a compensation fund. So you would kind of keep adding to the compensation fund, and you would, there are very small detailed things that need to be worked out that, do I do it on revised estimates or do I do it on audited estimates? What do I do it on? I can't do it at the end of the year because that will be a liquidity problem for states. So you will do a 3-month compensation to avoid liquidity crisis for states. And in that, adjust it towards the end of the year. So those operational details, I think, will get worked out at the officer level so that states don't suffer from this kind of thing. But there were thoughts which are, like, can we use borrowing to finance this?
Okay.
I think that's something.
Oh, so that is also there on the table.
Well, it's there. He suggested that the government doesn't take a kind view to that, saying that no, I'm already leveraged more than states, and why should I do this?
All right.
So it is an understanding. We're trying to both kind of see how it is. There also is a thought which I kind of put up is that which I wouldn't be very popular among states to say that is that those states that have gained can contribute to the compensation fund. After all, we are in a federation. Why are we always looking at vertical transfers? Why not lateral transfers for a change?
Okay.
So if some states are, there also will be unintended gains.
I don't think lateral transfers will be taken at all.
Yeah, definitely. But you are moving in a very, to a different tax regime.
Okay.
So
you need to
Mr.
look at-
Drabu, yeah.
Yes.
Do you see the, sort of floodgates open for various different kind of cesses as well? I mean, not just on liquor and on cigarettes, but do you see the possibility of a cess on more products?
I wouldn't, but you may see it on luxury items and some specific items. But I would not see a cess-driven kind of a thing. That is simpler for us to raise the rates of the GST. The point is,
Okay.
as long as you want to finance compensation out of GST itself,
Fair enough.
it has an impact on rates. We are trying to disassociate the rate from the compensation.
Okay.
And in which case, you can say that, look, why don't I do a borrowing, why doesn't center do a borrowing?
All right.
Or, as I was saying,
Okay.
that, can you look at a lateral transfer? That's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Actually, that was educational listening to you and even a consolation, Haseeb Drabu. That shortfall you're looking at really is only 10,000 crores, perhaps. Outside, the cess is already in place. And even that perhaps will not go to too many luxury products. Perhaps will be taken care of by cigarettes and liquor. Thank you very much.